Fantastic. All right. Hey, welcome back, everybody. I hope you like our studio we're doing here. We're here in Shibuya and found this nice location. We have this nice background here. And decided to have a chat with all of you guys. And so thanks for joining us today. Today, we kind of wanted to share with you, since Japan's going through a lot of changes on the working culture, all of the restrictions are starting to get lifted. I kind of wanted to share what our firsthand experiences are with that transition. To start with, today I'm being joined by Alex and Taeyang and myself, Ben. Thank you for joining us today. But kind of wanted to start with our firsthand experiences with just coming into Japan. First of all, right? What is it like to try and come in? What are the quarantine restrictions like and everything? And fortunately, we have somebody here who has firsthand experience with that. And so with that, I'd like to turn it over to Alex. And could you share with us a little bit on what it was like? I know you did it earlier this year.
Right, thanks, Ben. Yeah, so I did come back from the U.S. this June. So my experience is a little bit dated, but I did confirm with friends who came back more recently, and it's very similar to what they went through. Japan has a typical 2-week quarantine, 14 days, and depending on where you come from, some of these 14 days are spent at home, and some of these 14 days are spent at a hotel, which is provided by the government. So, while you're in the hotel, it's the most interesting experience. You cannot leave the room for any reason. There's like guards outside, and they bring your food by hanging it on the doorknob on the outside. They run a PA announcement just to tell you, don't get out of the door because now we're hanging out the food. And once that's over, they run another PA and say, now you can get your food. So it's a lot like prison. But I survived, and I think nobody died in that situation.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, but it's interesting, and if I think other than that, nothing much is unique. They make you install 4 different applications on your smartphone, which you have to have.
Really?
Yeah, you can't get into the country without a smartphone. If you don't, they make you rent one.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And these applications track your whereabouts during the remaining of the quarantine, the balance after you leave the hotel.
Okay.
And they track your GPS, make you have a daily video call and everything. So your quarantine at home is like pretty rigorously monitored.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's the kind of experience that it is like to travel internationally, in many places recently, in Japan particularly.
Yeah.
So.
Pretty strict. So Alex did this maybe like earlier this year.
Right.
For context, it's December now. It's toward the end of the year. I just had the opportunity to speak with a friend who just came into Japan a couple of weeks ago, and it seems a lot lighter than that. He was able to quarantine at his own house for, I believe it was 10 days, so less strict, but he still had to do those daily check-ins, those random calls, and he was nervous. He didn't want to fall asleep and miss a call or something, and so it was a little bit of a stressful experience for him, but not as quite as strict as back then, but still definitely there is a mandatory quarantine in place. So kind of wanted to share our firsthand experiences of what we've heard so far about coming into the country. Not impossible, but definitely got to be prepared.
Right.
And you have to do the PCR test as well, correct?
Oh, I did a PCR test like 3 times.
3 times?
Yeah, I think one time before I left the U.S., another time as soon as I got into the airport, and a third time when leaving the hotel.
Oh, wow, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
And those are all requirements. You had to do it. And the test in the U.S. has to be done by a facility that's acknowledged by the government. So you better look up on the internet and find out the right.
I'm curious though, so do you have to pay for the PCR test out of pocket, or is it all funded?
The 2 that I did in Japan are funded by the government.
Okay, great.
Yeah, those I didn't have to pay. The one in the U.S. prior to boarding, that one I had to pay.
And I'm curious, if you're willing to share, but I just talked to a friend who's actually quarantining in Taiwan. And in Taiwan, you actually have to pay for all the hotel expenses out of pocket.
Oh, I didn't have to pay for anything.
Oh, wow. So they covered everything. That's great. Yeah. That's great to hear.
Yeah, I stayed at a Hapa Hotel. And, always, I was alone, but I had the company of the picture of the hotel owner. That lady was her name.
For those who aren't aware, APA Hotel, that's APA Hotel. very nice hotel, but very like entry level, small, bare essentials. But they're actually very nice hotels if you're going for something cheap and simple. So
it's like
that's
business
something-
travel. Or
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
okay. You don't
Yeah.
find yourself lacking. Or anything.
Nothing luxurious or anything, but gets the job done. It's a good place for you trying to go for entry level and stuff. So that's awesome to hear. You got in, so now you're here in Japan. Fantastic. Next, I kind of wanted to share a little bit of our firsthand experience of actually like working in Japan. Well, we're kind of in this transitionary mode where restrictions are getting lifted. We're starting to go back to the office or working in some type of hybrid culture or environment. Kind of want to share our firsthand experiences with that. But maybe we'll start with you, Taeyang. What has it been like coming to the office, working from home, the people you work with? Like, what's going on?
Actually, there's just nothing changed, to be honest.
Yeah?
You can come to office like as much as you like. So I
Mhm.
can come to office like twice a week. And
Twice a
then
week, yeah?
Twice a week, and then meet the people from with the people who just come to the office, same as me.
Yeah.
So it's like nice to have like a 3D kind of contact rather than just 2D.
3D, yeah.
So that's a lot of fun. But having said that, other than that, actually nothing changes. You did a lot of when you have a meeting, you need to have some distance, 1.6 feet, like that. So you have very limited people in the same room. But at the same time, it's always good to have this meeting. So
Yeah.
that is one thing for the work environment. Other than that, actually, when you come to the commute, right? It's also there's not much changes. Much fewer people than previously because a lot of people are like avoid some like rush hours.
Okay.
For me, I came to office like 8 a.m. And then leave earlier than like 5 p.m. something like that. Usually try to avoid a lot of the people in the train. So
Okay. Trains are not too crowded then?
no,
It's pretty...
it's not. It's pretty easy. So
That's
I think there is a good part, and then also like meet you guys in the
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
There is also a lot of plus. Right?
Yeah. We get to have lunch with friends again, It's
Starts to get normal again.
Yeah.
It feels like it's like 2019.
Yeah, just like party like it's
Wow.
2019, right?
Yeah, I think we already skipped the 2020, 2024.
I don't even remember that year. I don't remember.
So how about Ben?
Well, thank you very much. But yeah, very similar. Like for my commute route, for my particular situation, my house is way small, like way too small. I don't have like a dedicated working environment or a space in my own house. So I come to the office almost every single day. But, it's a lot of people are still working from home. A lot of the, external companies I work with, they're all working from home. So it's very easy to come into the office. Not crowded. The trains for me are super empty. Like before, when I was commuting, it was like kind of shoulder to shoulder. But now, like, there's seats available when I get onto the train. It's very, very...
Imagine that.
No, I cannot believe, like, the middle of Tokyo, and, like, there's seats available on the subway. It's unbelievable.
That
But
part is better than 2019.
That's better, yeah. Better than 2019. So definitely some benefits. And to your point, right now, since we're in a transitionary phase, it's very, like, it's optional. It's up to the individual to decide. Taeyang, you work from home most of the week. I come to the office most of the week. It's really, like, you can customize your experience, let's say, to kind of meet your, levels of comfort and what you need to get things done. But how about for you, Alex? I think me and Taeyang, we have a lot more, let's say, external facing, more business focused roles. But you are very much a software engineer. So just curious what your experiences are like.
Yeah, so I come to the office, I think, less even than Taeyong comes because, you just get used to the environment that you built at home for your own deliverables. And we don't have the need to meet physically as much as other people, although it's really nice. Many of the people that I work with, I saw for the first time last month. I had never met them.
Yeah, because you just change the teams, right? You get a
Exactly.
brand new team, brand new people.
Yeah, so it's nice to have the option, but while in the beginning of the pandemic, I really wanted to come back to the office.
Yeah.
Right now, I find resistance. I find myself that, it's easy to wake up and be productive immediately, and then to stop in the evening and then go back to my hobbies or my project or whatever. Yeah. So that's how I feel.
That's great. That's fantastic.
I think I feel the same way. I mean, at first when this pandemic happened, right, I really resist to just working from home. I really want to have a face-to-face and then meeting with people. But now, there's always a benefit from this unfortunate event that you are really accustomed to this online event and then online meeting and then to get things done. Sometimes more efficient and effective way to do that, right?
Yeah, fantastic. So the last topic I kind of wanted to cover, somewhat work-related, somewhat not work-related, but I saw it pop up a lot on the media recently. But there was a study I read about recently on the internet that they did a recent survey of younger people who work in Japan, and 60% of them said they think nomikais or drinking events with your coworkers is no longer necessary, and they're actually happy about it. So I don't know how much everybody has experienced, but maybe just in general, your experiences with going with restaurants recently, or what is your take on nomikais? Do you like them, or you don't really like them either? So just kind of wanted to bring it up and get everyone's opinion. But how about we start with you, Taya?
So actually, I had two kind of drinks with my partners, because of we have some face-to-face meeting. At last, during 2 years we never did. Right. So it was a really nice feeling because we knew each other for quite a long time, but it was the first time to meet face-to-face in person. So it was kind of ice-breaking to have contact and then drink at the same. But at the same time, we are very cautious not to make some distance.
Not get too close. Not increase the risk.
You are very cautious about not like I said, air pollution.
You played that song by the Police in the background, right? Don't stand too close to me.
Don't stand too close.
So I think everybody have some kind of cautious, right? To be already make some distance. So that is very good because everybody is also restrained and then self-cautious that we are not forcing and then just enjoy having a contact. I think that is something great. So to summarize, less drinking. Usually year end you have at least 5 to 10 kind of drinking with your team and partners. But now I think I can only have 2 hours between 5, less than 5 kind of meeting and then drink. So I think it's much healthier for me in terms of that part. But having said that, still I think it's good to have drinking with a colleague and our business partners.
100% agree. I'll just kind of continue on that because we have very similar roles. But I feel like up until this point, we've been just talking through, and we met new people throughout the pandemic. And when you just meet through a video conference, you usually keep it pretty business related discussion, pretty dry kind of. So you don't really get to know the person very well. But I think when you sit down, you share a meal, you share a drink. We do our best to do it in a safe way. We get a private room, or we do it in a outdoor seating or something, or keep the people as small as possible. But when you share a meal with somebody, there's another different connection. You get to know the person a lot more. And when you're in a job or you rely on other people to kind of help you get projects done, it's really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
That level of connection is really important. That's something that I think I really relearned recently, the importance of that.
I think that's how the chemistry, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. Right?
Exactly. There's almost you need trust between two parties to go out and try and do something new, and that's just one way of building trust with another person. And so that's something that I'm really enjoying. I'm seeing a lot of more productivity and pickup on the projects we're working on right now. I will say though, the restaurants are pretty much full now. I think all the restrictions are gone. People are coming back. Something I will share though, because I was talking to a couple restaurants that I go to regularly, so I know the people who work there, and I'd be like, looks like business is doing great, like all your seats are filled, like are things back to normal now? And they say how it used to work before the pandemic is you would get wave one of people who come in around like 5 or 6 and then finish around 9. But then after that, you would get the wave 2 people who are going to the like second place or third place of the night, or around 9, and then they would stay until like last train around 11 or midnight. And they say right now there's no wave 2. It's basically wave 1, and then the restaurant like empties out at around 9. And there's just like a few people left. So not 100% back. People are still kind of being cautious. But with a few places that I went, like right around 6 or 7 o'clock, pretty much completely full of the restaurant. So things are starting to get back to regular. So that was nice to see. Curious for you, Alex, have you had any opportunities to go have a meal on a restaurant?
I did, and what I feel that is different this time around after the pandemic started to decline a little bit. It's that every restaurant has its own little culture and procedures that you have to learn, right? You wash your hands before, or you wear your mask at this particular situation, or you set up this glass in between people, or you sit in the counter, or leave this one empty. So having to quickly look at the store, read the text, learn the
rules,
the rules on that one place is something that's different now. And then one other thing I noticed that specifically with work situations where you have like a arrangement to go and meet people. There's much less of a sense of mandatoriness. There's obligation to go.
100%.
Right? It's all optional. Right? I mean, it's in stark contrast with an experience I had a long time ago in a different company I worked for, where I remember that there was people of 2 different companies got together for dinner in Tokyo. And then one person in the meeting called someone else who had already gone home and was already resting. They say, "Hey, why don't you join us?" And that's not really a polite request. Kind of like, this is like semi-mandatory.
Semi-mandatory, exactly.
After they already went, they're already home, right? In a day like this, after a pandemic, that's unthinkable. That would never happen.
I could share too that even just for like just among friends, like before it was like, let's say like 6 of you are going to get together,
right?
Like if one person couldn't make it, you would like change the day, or you would like figure out a way until everyone said they could attend,
right?
But like now it's not so like mandatory. If like somebody just like bows out and be like, "Oh, sorry, I'm not gonna go," or "I can't go," or whatever, you just kind of like leave it. It's a lot like, if you can come kind of a mentality, where before there's kind of like more of like a social pressure where from the person doing setting up the event to be include everyone as much as possible, but also from on the flip side, people who are attending to do their best to like open up their schedules to attend as well. But I think that kind of like went away now. Like I think that's a lot less.
It's kind of a lighter commitment.
A lighter.
Both these meetings at work and personal level,
which I think is a good thing. I think that's something Japan's been a little bit. I don't know, maybe super traditional.
Uptight.
A lot of social pressure was a lot more before the pandemic.
In a way, I think that there is something good thing about Japan. That a lot of, even we are not wearing masks as of now because of this shoot, but a lot of people in the street wear the mask, right? There is something very cautious about, and then it's not only about themselves, but also about the other people's, right? Cautious, and then take care of the other person's perspective as well. I think there is something. I find, as I said, it's uptight, and the Japanese culture is uptight. But sometimes the good side is they are very
That's the good part that comes
considerate.
Considerate.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, I think. I go to work almost every day. I ride the trains almost every day. I think I've like, out of the entire month, I've probably seen like 1 or 2 people without a mask on.
Exactly,
but like it's like 99.99% of people.
Very rare.
Yeah. So that's definitely something that's very different about this culture. All right. Well, with that, we're trying to keep these videos short and simple, easier for you to consume. So I wanted to thank you for joining us today. Today, just quickly to wrap up, we talked about our firsthand experiences with number 1, getting into Japan, number 2, what it's like to work in Japan, and number 3, what it's like to share a meal, have fun in Japan as well. So hope you found the update informative and interesting, and if so, come back and check it again, as we'll be making updates regularly moving forward.
All right.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Take it easy.